Welcome to the Rock and Wellness Podcast, the show that takes you on a voyage to better health, wellness, and happiness that will rock your world. With me, Rachel Joy Olsen, your host, your coach, and your biggest fan. Welcome to episode 17 of the Rock and Wellness Podcast, and thank you so much for tuning in again. I am your host, Rachel Joy Olsen, author of A Beginner's Guide to Going Meatless, health coach, and yoga instructor. Many people are suffering with poor health and a lack of wellness, so I feel it is my mission with this podcast and everything else that I do to share my 20 plus years of experience and knowledge in the health and wellness industry to help you achieve the life you desire. In today's podcast, you will learn about the role your emotions play in your physical health and what you can do to enhance your physical and emotional health and well-being. So let me start today by asking you this. Have you ever read a book or listened to an inspiring talk that really just spoke to your inner core being? Something so profound that it changed the trajectory of your life? This really has happened to me many times, but one time in particular, many years ago, I read a book that changed my life and the way I looked at my body forever. You may have heard of this book. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I'll post this book and links in the episode show notes so that you can go take a look at it and purchase it yourself, which I highly recommend. In her book, Louise speaks about how our limiting beliefs and thoughts are often the cause of physical illness. And she teaches that if we change our way of thinking, we can improve the quality of our health and life as a whole. I found this interesting and started to look at some of the physical ailments I've struggled with through my life. I'm going to share some of these issues with you today as an example of how powerful our mind and emotions are and how sensitive our physical body is to these thoughts and emotions. In recent podcast episodes, I've spoken with guests Kim Festa and Karen Klassen about how powerful gaining control over our thoughts can be, and how simply retraining our mind through practices like meditation can have a profound effect on our health and life overall. If you haven't yet listened to these episodes, I encourage you to go back and listen to them. You'll find them very interesting. I'm going to now share with you some of the physical issues that I am currently dealing with or have dealt with in the past to see if perhaps you can relate. Once you purchase the book, you will be able to look up your own physical issues and change your thoughts around them. Louise talks about the problem, what might be causing the problem, and a positive affirmation to help the problem so you'll be able to have a solution to every issue. So let's get started. So one of the very first things for me, especially recently, is joint pain. I have pain literally in my knees, elbows, shoulders, back, and hips. Yes, do you think I might have a few issues of my own going on that I need to work with? We are all human. And this life, in my opinion, is one big lesson after another that we must learn. So it's just a big journey. So let's go through these various joints and see what Louise Hay has to say about them. So the first one we're going to talk about is knee pain. Louise suggests that knee problems represent having a stubborn ego and pride, holding on to fear and lacking the ability to bend or be flexible in life. It's very interesting that that's what it is, because if I could look back in my life and the person that I am, I would say it's very true. So the ego is defined as a person's self-esteem or self-importance. It is the self that tries to keep us safe. In doing so, often keeps us in fear and holds us back in our lives. Or the ego may cause us to have too much pride to look within and take responsibility for our own actions. By looking at my own self and ego, I know I have let ego and pride get in the way of seeing new opportunities. I often sit in fear of failure and therefore don't even move towards some of the goals I have set for myself. Now, if you find that you have knee pain, take a look at your own life and where your ego may have worked hard to keep you safe and prevented you from living your best life. Have you ever held strong to a belief regardless of whether or not it was right and serving you in your life? How has this affected you physically? Think to all the people that you know who are holding strong to a belief that, really might not even be serving them at all or is such old school thinking, and just notice, do they happen to have knee problems? It's fascinating. The positive affirmation Louise Hay recommends if you've got knee problems is to say to yourself, I bend and flow with ease and all is well. I forgive, I understand, and I have compassion. So some of the positive affirmations that I speak of today, if they resonate with you, pause the audio here and just write them down. Keep them with you where you can look at them every day. Now, of course, if you get the book, you will have access to all of them. Okay, moving on. Elbow pain. So just recently, I have been diagnosed with tennis elbow, which causes me a lot of pain right now, right at the elbow joint, kind of on the outside of the elbow. Of course, I've come up with a physical reason why this may have happened, but I was curious to see what the emotional cause may be. In her book, Louise suggests that elbow pain represents changing directions and accepting new experiences. The interesting thing about this is that there was a huge change in my personal life in the last little while. My boyfriend and I have had to move 2 times in the past 5 months, and really looking at the world as a whole due to everything that's happening in the world with the COVID situation, there's so much change right now in the whole world, which has really been hard on me and virtually everybody I know. So I guess it's no wonder I have this pain. So Louise suggests this positive affirmation for elbow pain. I easily flow with new experiences, new directions, and new changes. All right, shoulders. So if you've ever had any shoulder issues, you might be able to relate to this. I mean, shoulder issues are actually very common. I see many people I train in the gym suffering from shoulder pain quite often. Of course, you'll feel pain if you've hurt yourself, such as, an accident, an injury like a torn muscle, which, is really likely the most explainable cause of the shoulder pain. But thinking about why did this injury happen in the first place? So according to Louise Hay, shoulder issues are the result of making life a burden by our attitude. So think about this. Have you ever woken up in the morning and said to yourself, I really don't want to go to work today, or I just have too much to do, or perhaps just have a crappy attitude about your life in general? These thoughts may be the cause of your shoulder pain, so it's important to make a positive shift. Louise Hay suggests this affirmation for shoulder pain. I choose to allow all my experiences to be joyous and loving. I love that one because I think often we forget that, kind of that humdrum attitude is affecting us in so many ways, where if we can just turn things around, put a smile on our face, go to work, do the best that we can, or show up in your personal life, you will feel so much better. All right, moving on. Back pain, big one for a lot of people. Of course, there is a lot of physical reasons why people might have back pain. And, I'm one of them, and there's definitely some physical reasons there. But when I started to look into the emotional significance of back pain, I wasn't surprised about that one either. Again, I see so many people suffer from back pain, and I bet every single one of them have these emotional stressors. Louise reviews the 3 areas of the back, explains their emotional connection, and offers a positive affirmation to go with them. She suggests that lower back pain represents having a fear of money or lack of financial support. A positive affirmation for this is, I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. Think of how many people in the world today are struggling financially due to the current economic situation. It would be a very interesting study to find out how many of those people now suffer from low back pain. Right? It's hard. And even if you are, let's say, financially safe, but yet you still maybe worry about the future of that safety, you might find you've got back pain in the low back. Middle back issues represent guilt and being stuck in all the stuff from the past, or the feeling of, get off my back. A positive affirmation for this issue is I release the past. I am free to move forward with love in my heart. Now, it's funny, I've always had stiffness in my middle back. I grew up in a home where often, not purposely, but there was a lot of guilt, right? I remember that from my grandmother, and I know she didn't mean it, but there was often a lot of guilt. So I've often carried a lot of guilt around if I happen to disappoint someone, and I feel it in my middle back. So just think about your own life. Is there anything that you feel guilty about in your past? Perhaps that's maybe why that you've got problems in the upper middle back. Now, the upper back problems represent the feeling of being unloved, holding back love, and the lack of emotional support. A positive affirmation for this issue is I love and approve of myself. Life supports and loves me. This one's huge. I mean, so many people have upper back, kind of neck issues. And when I speak to the majority of my clients, my health coaching clients, so many of these women are coming with this exact issue, that feeling of being unloved. And a lot of it does stem from the lack of self-love, number one. And when we can get these women to start looking at, wow, like once I start loving myself, everything else just falls into place. So again, take a look at your own life. Are you feeling unloved in the situation that you're in? Could you use a little bit more love for yourself? All good things to think about. So let's move on to the hips. Like any joint or physical issues, it's important to have a healthcare practitioner to take a look at what's going on and diagnose the problem. Of course, I am not advocating here that we ignore modern medicine and physical issues at all. This discussion today is simply to help get to the root of the issue from an emotional and even spiritual perspective. If you look at holistic healers, they will agree that we have a mind, body, and soul, and we heal the best and most effectively when we look at and fix all three aspects of the person. I'm a big believer that we are only as strong as our weakest link. So for example, let's say you take care of your physical body. You eat right, your exercise, everything's spot on. But you carry a lot of anger from the past. You don't have a spiritual practice. If this happens, you will notice that you'll still have physical issues, which will to kind of the surface won't make any sense because you're taking care of your physical body, right? A good friend of mine actually said that to me once. He's like, you have no problem with your nutrition and your exercise, but it's the emotional and spiritual practice that are actually holding you back. And you're only as strong as your weakest link. And that was such a profound lesson for me because it's true, right? He kind of said, look at it like the spokes of a wheel. If you've got, one or two spokes that are broken, your whole wheel structure on that bicycle or whatever it is will be weakened. And it makes complete sense. So let's move on. So let's take a look at the hips. According to Louise Hay in her book, of course, the book we're talking about today is You Can Heal Your Life, hip problems represent a fear of going forward in major decisions or nothing to move forward to. A positive affirmation for hip problems is, I am in perfect balance. I move forward in life with ease and joy at every age. So again, if you've got any sort of hip pain or hip issues, take a look at what are some of the decisions that you're trying to make in your life, or perhaps you haven't set any goals and you don't feel that you've got anything to look forward to in your future. So if you suffer from joint pain at all and you want to work on relieving the issue, here are some action steps that you can take to focus on getting these joints feeling a little bit better. So number one, you definitely want to get the joint looked at, because we want to make sure that, the pain or injury is looked at by a healthcare professional in case there truly is a physical issue. There could be a break, there could be a tear. It's really important to be responsible and take care of the physical body to ensure it doesn't turn into a more debilitating condition. Second, boost your energy. While taking care of the physical body, start raising your energy. Get up in the morning with a huge smile on your face, jump up and down Tony Robbins style, and face the world with joy and excitement. Even if you have a busy day or you have to complete tasks you really don't want to do, this simple shift in attitude will make a huge difference for you. It might even relieve your pain. What do you have to lose? Give it a try. I know I've done this numerous times. Let's say at work, I do, part of my job is I coach at a fitness center, and we've got to be on as if we're on stage. And sometimes I just don't feel like it. So I go in the back. I know a colleague of mine both do this. We jump up and down. We're like, okay, we got this. We can do it. And then you walk out and you feel better. It's just a matter of shifting your energy, and physical movement does that. Okay, so meditation, of course, is such a great way to help you let go of any heavy energy that you're holding on emotionally and spiritually. By adopting a regular practice of meditation, you can work on connecting to the ego and helping the ego release you from the fear that keeps you from moving forward in your life. Thank your ego for protecting you, because it really does protect you from perhaps making silly decisions. But then encourage it to just leave you alone. Think of the ego as a separate person who just desires your acknowledgement, but is not necessarily someone who knows best for you. Live a healthy lifestyle overall, really important. As with any other issue, it's important to make healthy lifestyle choices, such as eating a whole food, plant-based diet, exercise daily, drink lots of water, and of course, quit unhealthy habits such as smoking. Now, move your body. I kind of already talked about how moving the body raises the energy, but it's important to exercise and keep your body strong. When we keep the muscles strong around the joints, this will help stabilize the joint and often helps to reduce pain. Exercise also helps to reduce stress, which is often held in the physical body as pain. And of course, already mentioned, really important just to eat nourishing food. When you eat an abundance of food that is real, it is whole, full of plants, it will help to reduce inflammation that might be sitting in the joints that causes a lot of pain. Let's move on now to some other physical issues that you might be dealing with. So one issue that I've had for many years is colon and digestive issues. I've had these problems for pretty much as long as I can remember. Luckily, with some of the changes that I've made, they're actually getting better over time. Digestive issues are now very common in people these days. Louise suggests that issues in the colon are the result of holding on to the past and the fear of letting go. Recently, I've been doing a lot of research on how to relieve my own digestive issues. Of course, I've done this for many, many years. I'd say at least 2 decades. But one of the podcasts I love to listen to is the Plant Proof podcast. You've probably heard me talking about it on here before, where host Simon Hill interviewed Dr. Will Bulchevitz, and hopefully I'm saying that right, but Dr. B is usually what he's called. He suggested that digestive issues are often related to the food we eat, but most commonly the result of a traumatic event or events that happened in childhood. This emotional connection to digestion hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd never heard that before, but it didn't surprise me because my mom has said that I've had digestive issues as long as she can remember, and I would agree. And when you think about this as the result of a traumatic event or events that happened in childhood, I had a very traumatic childhood. I don't talk about it a lot. Some people know. I've shared a little bit of the story, but my dad was a violent schizophrenic when I was young. He was very, very ill. It was a very volatile household, very scary for a child. And I have spent my life pushing down the feelings of what this was really like. Now, to be honest, I probably don't even know how to feel the feelings of how I really feel or really felt back there, right? I've likely never let the emotional distress go. And it's probably sits in my colon, in my digestive issue, even though it may not be a conscious thought. So think back to your childhood. I certainly, my wish for everybody is that no one has to go through anything traumatic, but at the same time, I can recognize where that experience has brought me. So, everything does happen for a reason, but think back to where something may have happened and then think back to, well, when did my digestive issues start? It's kind of fascinating. So a positive affirmation Louise offers for colon issues is, I easily release that which I no longer need. The past is over and I am free. So if you have digestive issues, especially problems in the colon, take a walk down memory lane. Was there anything traumatic that happened to you in the past that may be still affecting you today? Are you holding on to something from the past that is no longer serving you? To release the discomfort of digestive distress, work on these few things. Number one, definitely meditate and let it go. Sit with your thoughts on a daily basis and allow the thoughts to arise, good, bad, or ugly, to be felt and released. In her book, The Choice, Dr. Edith Eger had some of her clients yell, scream, and hit pillows until all the painful emotions were released from the body. And I've done that practice, and it works. Whatever way you choose to release, do it until you're able to fully let go and begin to live in the present moment. I would also suggest to seek some help. Asking for the help of a trained medical professional is also a good option. They are there to help support you in ways no one else can. They know how to help you get through the pain and trauma of various events. And I know that I've had various therapists and coaches who have helped me over the past few decades. Of course, it comes back to nutrition. Eat whole, high fiber foods. Taking care of the physical body by eating these high fiber foods will absolutely support colon health. And I've often talked to a lot of my clients, and when I look at most people's diets, they just don't have enough fiber. And the unfortunate part about it is a lot of the fad diets these days promote low fiber diets, which in turn is causing a lot of colon issues, unfortunately. Drink lots of water. Staying hydrated is important, especially for the colon, as it does require water to move waste out of the body. So lots and lots of water. Move your body. Exercise and movement will help keep the colon healthy, as muscle contraction helps the colon move food waste. I even think about my dog. She goes to the bathroom a lot better if we go for a walk, right? So we're no different. Sitting and lying twists are also especially good for digestion. That's the one thing I do with my students in my weekly yin yoga class, is we do a lot of rotations and twisting, because it's so good for the spine and digestion. Okay, moving on. Number 7. I know, ladies, those of you who are listening, you are going to relate to this one. Cellulite. So ladies, just where you're at right now, little show of hands, who hates looking in the mirror and seeing those leg bumps staring back at you? I know I have hated my legs for years and often hide under long skirts or pants because of it. The crazy part about that is that by hating ourselves and the way we look, we remain stuck in a vicious cycle. Physically, cellulite is the result of fat protruding into the layer of connective tissue and dermatological, let's see if I can say that right, layer just below the skin. The exact cause is really unknown to most, but it has been thought that poor lifestyle choices can make it worse. So too much toxins in the body, smoking, junk food, processed food, sugar, alcohol, all those things actually make cellulite worse. Now, emotionally, Louise Hay says that cellulite is the result of stored anger and self-punishment. So the continuous self-hate is just feeding the cellulite. So if you hate your cellulite, Louise suggests this positive affirmation. I forgive others. I forgive myself. I am free to love and enjoy life. So if you have cellulite and want to get rid of it, or at least minimize it, follow these steps. Number one, most important thing for each and every one of us to do in our lives is to practice self-love. First and foremost, it's important to look in the mirror each day and send your body some love. The best way to do this is to really just put your hands on each area of your body and say, I love you and I'm grateful for you. This sort of self-love practice has been proven to be effective in overall health and wellness of the body and mind. Even if you don't believe the words when you first start this practice, you will eventually. This was the most transformational practice in my life. When I started looking at myself in the mirror and saying every day, I love you, because I had so much self-hate, I couldn't even stand being with myself. But when I started shifting that, looking at my body going, all right, damn girl, you look great, right? Instead of, ugh, so many people, and myself included in the past, miss out on so many amazing opportunities in their life because they're so worried about hating they're hating their bodies so much, or they're worried about what other people are thinking of them. And it's so sad to me because I see it happening all the time and I have done it. So practice this self-love. It will completely change your life. Yes, it'll take some time. But trust me, I think this is the most important practice over exercise, over diet, over anything else is the practice of self-love. But of course, you'll hear me say it over and over again, eating a healthy diet. It has actually shown that people who eat too much fat, processed carbohydrates, and too little fiber have more cellulite. That's why I'm fascinated by these high-fat, low-carb diets, and people then are confused why their cellulite's not coming down. And it's just exactly that. So it's really important to eat a diet rich in fiber-filled foods. Now, of course, where does most fiber come is plants. So lots and lots of plant foods to reduce your risk and the look of cellulite. Really, really important to quit smoking. Cellulite has been shown to be more prevalent in smokers, and quitting will help reduce it. Of course, exercise. This will help to reduce body fat and increase muscle mass, which will then help reduce the look of cellulite. Now, there are other treatments out there to reduce the look of cellulite, but in my opinion, they just seem to be a Band-Aid solution. But look into these options. If you feel you want to go ahead with one of them, go ahead and do it. But you're going to want to do it in conjunction with the tasks and strategies mentioned before, because it's proper lifestyle. It's taking care of yourself. It's not the Band-Aid solutions that work long term. Like anything else, you've got to really look at the core of the issue. Otherwise, it will just remain the same. All right, let's move on. Inflammation is a chronic issue that many people suffer with. Chronic inflammation is the result of eating high-acid foods and drinks and not taking care of your health. However, according to Louise Hay, the emotional issue causing inflammation is fear, or having inflamed thinking and staying angry. So to reduce inflammation, of course, there are many ways to take care of the physical body, which I'll speak to in a moment, but Louise offers this positive affirmation to help. My thinking is peaceful, calm, and centered. So maybe you're hanging on to anger from the past. Maybe you're angry at someone. You're just hanging on to being mad and not forgiving someone. So if you have chronic inflammation, it's really important to work on reducing it as quickly as possible, because inflammation is absolutely a precursor to long-term chronic issues. So really, really important to reduce inflammation as quickly as possible. Now, one of the ways, of course, is to eat a lot of plants, right? Eating a whole food diet. Alkaline-rich food has been shown to reduce inflammation. If you exercise, it's extremely important to eat an alkaline diet, because exercise or regular exercises causes inflammation. So if you're not eating an anti-inflammatory diet, such as, a diet rich in plants, you could be making it worse. You could be making the inflammation worse. And of course, processed food and animal products are acidic. They will feed into inflammation. So really important, not saying you've got to cut out processed foods or animal products 100%, although I'd like to see you do that. Just making sure you're eating enough of the good stuff to get rid of the inflammation. Now, how I actually recommend, and I do it myself, is, don't get me wrong, I eat a plant-based diet, so I eat a ton of plants every single day. But eating a whole food supplement or taking a whole food supplement, that's absolutely probably one of my biggest keys and one of the things that has helped me over the years. The next thing to do, and of course, really super important, is to just release the fear and anger. I know sometimes this is easier to say than do. However, it's one of the most important steps of all. Holding on to fear and anger is killing all of us who continue to do it. Take action today. Truly do. Seek help from a professional to explore where the fear and anger is coming from and do whatever it takes to release it. This may mean adopting a daily meditation practice, screaming and hitting pillows till you're no longer angry, or just allowing yourself to embrace your fears by getting out of your comfort zone. Or perhaps it's needing to forgive someone. Maybe it's yourself. Whatever it takes, really important to do it now. This will help reduce the inflammation in your body and give you better health in the long term. Next one, excess weight. I, like many other women, have spent their lives trying to lose excess body fat. Some have succeeded to lose it and keep it off, while others fail time and time again. As a personal trainer and health coach, I have had people come to me for the past 20 plus years wanting to lose weight. It's the number one reason why people work out and go on crazy, unsustainable diets only to be disappointed with the results. The thing is, the ones who are successful are not the ones who go on restrictive diets or work out excessively. The people who successfully lose weight usually have worked on their emotional distresses. They've taken care of their emotional, mental, and spiritual body, which is most often the cause of body weight issues. And I speak to a lot of my clients about this. Anybody who ever comes to me and wants to lose weight, we hardly talk about, don't get me wrong, we do talk about diet and exercise because those are absolutely so important. But the biggest part of where my coaching comes in is teaching people how to work on that emotional and spiritual body. And that's always what works. It's so neat because once those are healthy, the physical body just really falls into place because all of a sudden your choices are different. Okay, so it's pretty neat. Now, according to Louise Hay, holding on to excessive weight is the result of being oversensitive. This excess weight often represents fear and shows a need for protection in some way. This fear may be a cover hidden for anger and a resistance to forgive. This really makes perfect sense. Many people have had traumatic childhoods and fearful of the future and perhaps feel unsupported in your life. In a world of social media, we often feel like we're not good enough and truly eat more to comfort, protect ourselves, and hide our feelings. If you desire to lose weight, Louise Hay offers this positive affirmation. I am at peace with my own feelings. I am safe where I am. I create my own security. I love and approve of myself. If you feel like you're holding on to excess weight and body fat, here's a few steps you can take to start to release it. Number one, we've talked about this already. Practice self-love. Take time to sit still, calm your mind, focus on every area of your body and tell your body that you love it. Send it gratitude for all the things your body allows you to do. Physically touch each part of your body if it helps to focus and say, I love you. I no longer need your protection. You can go. Eat a whole food, plant-based diet. Feed your body with nourishing foods. Really important. This food will not only nourish your body, but your mind and soul as well. Learn to refrain from eating for comfort, especially when you're feeling emotional. It never feels good after anyway. Trust me, I know firsthand. I've often used food as a way to hide my feelings, but it never works. Those feelings just keep rearing their ugly head until you recognize, deal with them, and let them go. And of course, exercise. Moving your body will not only help you build strength and keep your physical body healthy, but it will also allow you to feel confident and accomplished. Now, of course, these are only a few of the physical ailments Louise Hay describes in her book. I would suggest purchasing the book so that you can use it as a reference guide anytime a physical problem arises for you. That way you can always be sure that you are not only working on the physical issue, but dealing with the problem from a deeper emotional and spiritual level as well. I will post the link to this book in show notes at R.J.O. Wellness/podcast/episode-17. To finish up today's discussion, I believe it's important for all of us to realize that there is more to our physical well-being than just treat the physical symptoms. There's a root cause to everything, and it's often not what we think. Take the time to learn more about the mind, body, and soul connection and explore ideas that you may not have ever thought of. The emotional distress that is apparent or repressed may be just the underlying issue of many of your physical body problems and what may be holding you back from showing up fully in your life. You have a great gift to share with the world. We all do. Take the time to learn what it is. Love and be kind to yourself. Release the fears and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And get out there and help others. Being in service is always a great way to live life. Life is by far too short to hide and play small. So let's all agree to support each other as we play big and change the world. And if you ever need support, I am always here. Please visit my website at rjowellness.com for more information on coaching and programs that will help support you on this journey to better health and wellness. Until next time, my friends, keep rocking your wellness. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Rockin' Wellness Podcast. Make sure to visit my website at www.rjowellness.com, where you can subscribe to the show and check out all the show notes. While you're at it, if you found value in this podcast, if you'd simply tell a friend about it, that would help out too. You may choose to join the R.J.O. Wellness community to take advantage of the freebies, courses, and coaching that will take your voyage to the next level, or support this podcast with your monthly membership. Until next time, my friends, keep rocking your wellness.